connected on Heart Song Live Radio on your smartphones. Download the app from the Android and Apple Store.
This is my moment. This is my perfect moment with you. This is what God meant. This is my perfect moment with you. Wish I could freeze this space and time, the way that I feel for you inside. This is my moment. This is my perfect moment with you. Tell me you love me when you leave. You're more than a shadow. That's what I believe. You take me to places I never thought I'd see. Minute by minute, you're the world to me. I wish I could write the look in your eyes, the way that I feel for you inside. This is my moment. This is my perfect moment with you. And if tomorrow brings a lonely day, here and now I know I haven't loved him back. Now my tears in the rain, and if love never comes again, I can always say I've been to paradise skies in your Tell me you love me the moment you leave. You're more than a shadow. Got to believe. I wish I could keep you all of my life. The way that I feel for you inside. This is my moment. This is my perfect moment with you. This is my perfect moment with you. With you.
You can now listen to Heart Song live on Radio Player. This means you can listen to our station whenever and wherever you are. Listen in your browser or download the Radio Player app. Or just ask Alexa, play Heart Song live on Radio Player. Radio Player, the easy way to listen to radio.
You are listening to Candid Moments with Fortunate on Heart Song Live Radio.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everybody. Hi and welcome back. It is Candid Moments with Fortunate on Heart Song Live Radio, and I'm your host. As you can see, I'm alone today. Fortunate isn't here. I'm anchoring us alone today, and it's your host, Iyinscreativemind. This evening, we're talking about something that affects everyone, every single one of us. as much as I can. I believe most of us on here would be millennials, and it's a topic that affects us in general as parents. We have real conversations here about real life. We have honesty. We're very open, and we try to approach things with as much heart as possible. From wherever you're joining me from, it could be Facebook, it could be YouTube, it could be Instagram, whatever platform you're joining me from now, TikTok, or Heartsong Live directly via radio, you're welcome. I'm really, really glad that you're here with us or with me today. And I'm really hoping that at the end of this 2 hours, we would have learned something. We would have unlearned a few things, and we would be going home with value as much as possible. Parenting has never been easy. If anybody says parenting is easy, well, maybe they should share tips with me, because personally, I don't think that parenting is easy. Parenting hasn't been easy for me. Not to say that it's not been fulfilling, not to say that I've not enjoyed every bit of it, but it definitely has not been an easy journey. But parenting in this generation, in this technology generation, is a whole other ball game. In as much as parenting hasn't been easy, adding technology and adding, the new advancements in this generation to it just, makes it a whole different ballgame from what we were used to growing up. It's a whole different conversation, honestly. If you're talking about parenting, in these times, it's a whole different conversation from the way we grew up. We were raised in a different way, in one certain kind of way, and now we're raising children in a completely different world. The world is totally different from the way I grew up. I'm not sure about you, but if you think about it, the way we grew up and in the world that we grew up in is very different from the world that our kids are growing up in right now. So definitely parenting styles will have to change. Parenting styles will have to adapt to the new advancements, basically. And so that's what we're really talking about today. Tonight, we're talking about something every millennial parent and even non-parents can relate to, because even if you're not a parent, you can be an auntie, an uncle, you have children in your life either way, regardless, so it's something that affects everyone. And that's why I said it affects everyone. You don't have to be a parent for this to affect you. You don't have to be a parent to learn from this. You don't have to be a parent to benefit from what we're going to be talking about today, or even contribute and, give tips or whatever you think will work or what has worked for you, working with children. We have teachers who aren't parents, but they work with children on a daily basis. And, definitely this affects almost everyone. Don't close your mind. Don't think, because I'm not a parent, this doesn't really apply to me. It does apply, and you can benefit and you can also contribute to what we're talking about today. So we're talking about raising Gen Alpha as millennials. Gen Alpha, honestly, I don't even know how we even got to all this grading, of different generations and everything. Yeah, the Gen Alpha are a special breed. They're a special kind of generation. And the default is that it's millennials that are raising the Gen Alpha, just using the age cadre and everything. The default is that it's the millennials who are raising Gen Alpha. So that's why we're talking to millennials today, and we're talking about Gen Alpha children. This is a generation that was born into technology. When we were growing up, technology was just beginning to, we were just understanding, it was just coming into play. It was just, starting out. There was a lot of, we were at the very beginning of when technology started. But now these kids are born smack in the middle of technology. They're born, these are children that before they can even speak or walk, they already know how to swipe up and unlock a phone. It's really, the age of children that are able to manipulate devices now is out of this world. And they're exposed to everything. There's hardly, as much as we try to filter, and that's some of the things that we're going to be talking about today, it's not easy, They're exposed to so much, and they're growing up way, way faster than we ever did. So, that's why we're talking about what we're talking about today. So we're going to start simple. Millennial parents, if any of you is a millennial parent, please let me know. Just you can identify in the chat. I'll be watching the chat. Let me know if you're a millennial parent, and let me know what has been the biggest shock for you when it comes to raising children today. What has been the biggest shock? What has been the biggest shock for you? I'd really love to read your comments. What has been the biggest shock for you, when it comes to raising children today? I'll be taking our comments and we can, have a discussion very shortly. But for me, I feel like what could I say is the biggest shock? It's probably the audacity of these children, honestly. Their audacity is beyond me. I feel like even as an adult and at my age, there's a limit to how audacious I am when it comes to relating with my parents. There's a limit. But my kids are so audacious, and I'm like they question everything. They want to know the whys. They want to explore. They want to do anything that they want to do, as long as they see it looking like a norm online, or they have conversations with their friends. They want to try it, and it's really difficult to get them to understand that everything is not for everyone. So I think their audacity, I would say, is one of the biggest shocks for me. Right. Okay. So we've got someone here who has said that she's a Gen X, which is that's the generation just before the millennials, and she happens to be raising a Gen Z and a Gen Alpha. So I'm sure she has a ton of experience. I'm pretty sure she has a ton of experience, and she would probably be able to, explain and, share her experiences. That must be something, to actually have two different generations, that you're raising. And we would like to hear from you what the difference is in a bit, between raising those two different generations of children. So we're going to talk in a little bit. We're gonna go for a music break very soon. So I want you to just put your thoughts together, think about what it is that you want to talk about. And if you perhaps are a Gen Z or a Gen Alpha in the comments, and you want to share your perspective of how you would love to be parented, because that's another thing, is these children that we're raising now are so assertive. Like I said, they're audacious, and they have an idea of what they want to see from their parents. For us as millennials, because of the kind of generation that we grew up in, there wasn't a lot of room for you to be able to talk about how you want to be parented. But it looks like with the, it looks like with the way things are going, we're going to need to hear more from these children about how they want to be parented. Of course, we're going to do it with caution. Of course, we're not just going to say, they would determine everything, but it might be good to look into their minds and understand why they do the things that they do and why they want the things that they want. So someone is saying here that one treads with caution, which is the Gen Z. Her Gen Z child treads with caution, doesn't do things without first counting the cost, without first thinking about what the implication would be, while her Gen Alpha child is fearless. Like I said before, audacious. These children are fearless. They would take on any task. They will take on any challenge. They don't shy away from challenges, and it's really beautiful to see. But then again, like we said, because they're children, they do require our guidance, and we need to find out that balance of not killing their fearlessness, because that would definitely help in their lives in general. And secondly, ensuring that they also don't come to harm, because they're still children anyway. So we're going to go on a quick music break while, just let's ease into the conversation so that we don't start so heavy. And we would be... Oh, thank you very much, my darling. Thank you. Someone says she loves the way that I speak. Thank you so much. So we're going to take a quick music break, and we will be right back.
Yo, everybody come get your bounce on, get your bounce on, get your bounce on. Don't be cute with it, you gotta get, come on. Fifth ward, fourth ward. Come on, sing it.
When I close my eyes and think of you and reminisce on all the things you do, I can't imagine my life without you. It's like paradise now. I know that it's real. It's a mystery. The song's still give that I'm just for me.
Come on.
What you did on Calvary makes me wanna love you
What's
more.
this?
I never knew I could be so happy. I never knew I'd be so secure because of your love. Life has brand new meaning.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be a bright day, bright day.
Come on, everybody clap like this, clap like this. Sing.
Never thought that I would smile again. I never thought the dark clouds would end. Never thought that I could have a friend that would keep me, never leave me alone. Jesus, you're my everything. The only one that makes my heart sing. Now I know what it really means. It's everlasting, lasting. I never knew I could be so happy. I never knew I'd be so secure because of your love. Life has brand new meaning. It's gonna be a brighter day, brighter day.
Sing it with me one more time.
I never knew I could be so happy.
I never knew so.
I never knew I'd be so secure because of your love. Life has brand new meaning. It's gonna be a brighter day, brighter day.
Listen to this, y'all. Listen.
Nothing can compare to the joy you bring, and everlasting love affair. Jesus, my life will never be the same.
I
I
found.
found someone who truly
Come on, and clap your hands, clap your, clap, come on, clap your hands up. Everybody, come on, and let me.
I never knew I could be so happy. I never knew I'd be so secure
Because of you, Jesus.
because of your love. Life has brand new meaning.
Here we go, here we go.
It's gonna be a brighter day, 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 brighter day,
Wait. Think I want to hear some horns. Wait. You're doing it too cute. Don't do it cute. Come on. I never knew. No.
I never knew I could be so happy.
I never knew Jesus.
I never knew I'd be so secure
as yesterday. I was praying for a miracle, scared to have a little hope. And now looking back today, seeing all the things you've done, I can't even add them up. 1, 2, 3, up to infinity. I'd run out of numbers before I could thank you for everything. God, I'm still counting my blessings, all that you've done in my life. The more that I look in the details, the more of your goodness I'll find. Father, on this side of heaven, I know that I'll run out of time, but I will keep counting my blessings, knowing I can't count that high. And I know that seasons never last forever, so God, I will remember all of the reasons my heart has to be grateful, all the times you've been faithful to me. God, I'm still counting my blessings, all that you've done in my life. The more that I look in the details, the more of your goodness I'll find. Father, on this side of heaven, I know that I'll run out of time, but I will keep counting my blessings, knowing I can't count that high. Oh, I can't count that high. 1, 2, 3, up to infinity. I'd run out of numbers before I could thank you for everything. God, I'm still counting my blessings, all that you've done in my life. The more that I look in the details, the more of your goodness I'll find. Father, on this side of heaven, I know that I'll run out of time, but I will keep counting my blessings, knowing I can't count that high. I will keep counting my blessings, knowing I can't count that high.
You can now listen to Heart Song live on Radio Player. Listen in your browser or download the Radio Player app. Radio Player, the easy way to listen to radio.
Okay, and we are back. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Candid Moments with Fortunate, and I am your host for today, Iyinscreativemind. And tonight, we're talking about raising Gen Alpha as millennials. And again, I'm tweaking the topic a little bit. Raising Gen Alpha in general, because you don't have to be a millennial to be raising a Gen Alpha child. You could be a Gen X raising a Gen Alpha child. You could be a Gen Z who, just happen to have kids really early, and you have a Gen Alpha child. And you don't even have to be a parent to contribute to today. You don't have to be a parent to benefit from today, because in one way or the other, we interact with children on a daily basis, and if not on a daily basis, occasionally. So this topic is really for everyone who's in contact with any Gen Alpha child at all. So welcome everyone. So where we want to start from is the difference between how we Gen Alpha or we millennials or Gen X were raised. Even Gen Z have been raised a bit differently from the way these Gen Alpha children need to be raised now. So what's the difference between how we were raised and how we are raising children today? If you have any ideas, if you have any thoughts, please let me know. What's that difference? For me, like I highlighted earlier, I think the difference would be that technology was not nearly this advanced, when we were brought up. It was not nearly this advanced. I know that there was a bit of technology. Things were beginning to crop up. Things were beginning to advance a little bit when I was being brought up, at least. But now we're literally smack in the middle of technology. Everything now is computerized. Everything now is, technology inclined and technology driven. So that's one big difference that I would say we have. Thank you so much, Abena. Thank you. So that's one big difference, one very, very big difference. Many of us grew up in homes where discipline was strict. I'm African, I'm Nigerian, and I grew up in a strict household. Not as strict as a lot of other homes that I would say, that from interaction with friends, from interaction with, people in general, I can tell that my upbringing was not as strict as a lot of people's were, but it definitely was strict and very controlled. Respect was expected. And honestly, some conversations were not even allowed, and that's very true. Luckily for me, growing up, I don't really think that I had a lot of restriction about the kind of conversations that we could have, because luckily my parents were very open-minded and they allowed for conversations. They would rather you have the conversation with them than you go out and have conversations and get the wrong ideas or get the wrong guidance from outside. But I know a lot of friends who didn't have the kind of upbringing that I did. They had a much stricter upbringing where some conversations were no, they were taboo, they were not allowed. You couldn't question anything, and you didn't. Like, you couldn't question and you didn't question. You couldn't explain and you didn't explain. So in terms of you being asked to do something, you can't question it. You doing something and having reasons for it, but not being given the opportunity to explain. You literally just listened. All you were brought up to do was to listen. In the generation that I was brought up in, it was a no questions asked, no explanation given, and you were just literally taught to keep your mouth shut and listen, Now, fast forward to today. It's 2026, guys, and we're in a world where we're raising children who ask questions. Every single thing is questioned, guys. Honestly, I have two Gen Alpha boys, and every single thing is questioned. Everything, even things that you would think don't concern them, even things that you would think, it's none of your business, they will question it. They will literally question every single thing. They express their emotions. That's another characteristic of these Gen Alpha children, is they're not afraid to express their emotions. If they want to cry, they cry. If they want to yell, they yell. If they want to, lash out, they lash out. Of course, we understand that these things should be controlled. But as opposed to those of us who were raised in a generation where you were supposed to be meek and quiet and not question anything, these children will express their emotions. They would let you know how they feel about any given thing. And sometimes they are negotiators. Oh my goodness, guys. Sometimes when my kids, in my mind, I'm thinking, when I was growing up, I had there was no audacity to go and meet, go and say, oh, daddy, if I do this, can that mean that you would allow me do that? It was not really the kind of conversation that we used to have back then. But my kids will downright come up to me and say, mommy, so you see the dishes that he knows he's supposed to be doing, because there's a timetable that says this person is doing dishes on this day and on this time. My child will still come to me, even though it's supposed to be set in stone that he's supposed to be doing something, and say to me, you see the dishes, mommy, if I do it and I finish it in 5 minutes, can I get 10 minutes on my tab? I'm thinking it's your duty anyway, Mr. Man. Young man, it's your duty. You were assigned that duty. You should not be negotiating what you can get for doing what you're supposed to do. But that's just Gen Alpha kids for you. They will negotiate like little lawyers. They would find their way of negotiating for anything that they want, as opposed to those of us who were in a generation where we just had to listen and not question anything. So I just have a few questions for us. I want us to be as honest as possible. What's one thing that you swore? This question, I'm shaking some tables. Our kids nowadays want explanations for everything. Absolutely. That's true. Someone has just said that our kids nowadays want an explanation for everything. They won't go without understanding the reason for things. They want to know. They're very inquisitive. So like I said, I want to ask us a question. And I want us to be as honest as possible. I'll try to be honest, because sometimes the thing is given, I'm shy, because what was that one thing that you swore you would never do as a parent, but now you find yourself doing it? What was that one thing that you swore? You said, never, it can never be me. I will never. No. How? Will I ever do that? But now you're covering your eyes in shame. You're like, oh my God, I'm doing it. I said I was never going to do it. Yeah, I can see two people in the comments saying exactly what mine is as well, shouting at our kids. Am I allowed to be shy, guys? Because, when you want to collect award for shouter of the century, that's me, guys. That's literally me, guys, because I was like, I'm going to be really gentle. I'm not going to yell at them, I'm just going to talk to them. I'm going to reason with them. I'm going to try and, hear their perspective. I would have raised my voice. I can't even count the number of times I've lost my voice yelling at my children after making a vow, literally, that I was not going to do that. But again, it's life. We find ourselves doing things that we honestly, even the Bible has said it, guys. Even Paul said it, that the things that I do not want to do, I find myself doing them. The things that I really want to do and I know I should be doing, I'm not doing them. So it's a struggle. It's absolutely a struggle, but we can do it. We can do it. Someone says, gentle parenting where? Guys, gentle parenting where? Because I don't even know how to explain it. I vowed, it's an experience. That's all I can say. It's an experience, and I know a lot of people can relate to what I'm saying. So, like I said, I've seen the comments shouting. They will test our last nerve and our patience. Yes. And, sometimes I don't want to use the word inevitable because that's very absolute, right? To say that, shouting is inevitable. But I really do think that it's almost impossible not to shout. I don't know if anybody has success in the comments. Please help me. Teach me, guys. Teach me. I want to learn because, I'm not going to say more than that. So maybe the truth of the matter really is that we're trying to give our children what we didn't always have. And that might just be it. Which is why in terms of, for example, not even in the shouting now. So, there's sometimes we said to ourselves, I'm never going to allow my kids watch some certain shows, or hi Yadi, thank you for joining. So sometimes we say to ourselves that, I'm never going to allow my child screen time because, they need to be wholesome individuals and they're going to be reading books. They're going to be doing puzzles. Sometimes, guys, it's don't used to work. He just don't used to walk, guys. Like, honestly, I've tried. There are times when I do a very beautiful, time high, Williamina, thank you for joining. I have it itemized. I will even go as far as printing. It's very nice. Put it on my fridge and say to myself, this is how we're going to do it. But it didn't used to work, guys. And sometimes it might also be because we grew up in a world where, you questioning anything. Who are you to question anything? But then because we realize that the world is changing and we do understand, sometimes these children ask questions that I think in my head, oh, wow, that's quite intelligent. For my child to actually think like that and ask that question, it even makes my head swell sometimes. And I'm like, oh, I need to make sure that I don't shut this child up. I need to make sure that I don't shut this child down because I'm going to deter them from, advancing in a world that is constantly advancing, right? So sometimes when we say we won't do some things where I will never take it, my child cannot tell me to shut up. I mean, my kids don't tell me to shut up. I'm just saying, we hope that, it doesn't get to that extreme. But sometimes the reason that we're allowing things that we said we won't allow and doing things that we said we wouldn't do is just because we're trying to give our children something that we didn't always have. But at the same time, guys, literally, we're still going to have to learn balance. We're going to have to learn balance, which is what I've realized is a word that comes up very, very often in a lot of different conversations. So we might not be talking about parenting. Sometimes you're talking about diets. Sometimes you're talking about, religion or in whatever topic it is. The word balance is one word that in the past few years has become something that has been like very, very rampant in every conversation, every single conversation. I can't think of a conversation that we can come up with right now that the word balance will not be relevant. So in the end, in everything that we do in life, and in parenting that we're talking about today, balance is the key, and that's what we're looking for. That's what we need to find, because we need to balance their inquisitiveness with ensuring that they don't bring themselves to harm. We need to balance everything about every area of our lives, and parenting is one place where it's very, very important and very necessary. So I have someone who said here that she used to say that she will raise her kids how her parents did, but she says she's too soft. And to be honest, I don't even think that it's because we're too soft sometimes. Like I was saying earlier, it's more a thing of how we were raised. Of course, wasn't exactly the best. There's no reason why inquisitiveness should be shut down. There's no reason why, being curious should be shut down. So maybe our own people, our own parents, our own generation weren't really raised the right way. We weren't raised as well as we could have been raised, I would say, so saying we would do that, of course, we know we all turned out okay, we have one or two adjustments that we've had to make in our lives to bring ourselves to where we are today. But, it's just that times are changing. So definitely the way we approach things has to change. The world that we were living in then is not the world that we're living in now. So absolutely our parenting style and everything that we're doing, has to change in line with, the way the world is moving. Someone says here that reasoning with them works, but we need patience to do that. And that's also a function of the way we were raised, because we were raised to just like, when you say A is A has to be A. But our children of nowadays will ask uppercase A or lowercase a. Like they want to know a cursive A or a block, like they want to know the nitty-gritty of everything. So yes, it might not be the easiest thing to reason with them, but we just need to learn patience. It's very, very important. We need to learn patience. We need to learn what balance looks like, how you can help them to express themselves, how you can help them to reason, but without taking away the parenting factor and ensuring that they don't come to any harm. These children, someone says here that they're loud, and it's true. Someone says that sometimes gentle parenting doesn't work. These kids can test your patience. And that's true. And that's why we're talking about balance. Because if you say totally you want to do gentle parenting all through, like I said, I'm very, very open. If it's working for you, teach us. Please. Cut soap for us. Please involve us if it's working for you. But right here, right now, with what I understand and what I'm learning is that we need to find a balance between being very affirmative. Hi, Nafisa. Hi, darling. How are you? Thank you for joining. We need to find that balance. That's what we're trying to achieve today. So, we're going to take a short break. We're going to take another music break. Of course, my TikTok guys will still be hearing my voice, but we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about technology. And this one, it's a big one. And for me, I personally think it's one of the biggest factors in the way that we raise our kids nowadays. It's one of the, in fact, it's for me personally, it seems like 90% for me. Hi, Auntie Anna. Thank you for joining, my darling. Thank you so much. Hi, Ada. Thank you for joining. So, technology. Let's go and think about it. Technology is one of the hugest factors, in our raising of these kids today. And we're going to be talking about pros and cons. We're going to be talking about how it's good and how it can be harmful and how we can strike that balance, which is what this conversation really is about today. So, yeah. Let's take this quick music break, and I will be right back.
I'm living, breathing proof that things can change. And the saving gift of grace, it really stays. With all the twists and turns on my mistakes, how I made it over, you were the only way. I'm not perfect, I don't always get it right, but I'd rather walk by faith and not by my foolish sight. So lead me on, lead me on, lead me on, please lead me on. I may not have it all quite figured out, no, I don't think it matters, think you like it that way. Jesus, you're the potter and I'm the clay. You're making me like you more and more every day. So lead me on, lead me on, lead me on, please lead me on. It's not me I'm leading on, lead me on, lead me on, lead me on. I'll put one foot in front of the other. I won't ever look back. No. What you have for me is better. I'll let go of my past. I know the future is nothing to fear. I know that you're holding it all in your hand. Yeah, you are. What you have for me is better. You will lead me on, lead me on. You will lead me on, please lead me on. It's not me I'm leading on, lead me on, lead me on, lead me on. Ooh, Jesus, I need you.
to show you. Don't feel that you can't live here. Please live in me. Please live in me, God. I will make room for you. My will, you can move that over. My way, you can move that over. My ego, you can move that over. My plan, you can move that over. My schedule, you can move that over. My itinerary, you can move that over. Oh, see, I will make room for you. My habit, you can move that over. My attitude, you can move that over. Whatever it is, you can move that over. That's not like you, you can move that over. Whatever it is, move that over. You can move it over. You can move that over. Oh, see, I will make room, yeah. Whatever it is, move that over. That's in your way. You can move that over. Whatever it is, you can move that over. If it takes your space, you can move that over. See, whatever it is, you can move that over. Oh, I don't want it there. You can move that over. Oh, see, I will make room, yeah. I wanna seek you first. You can move that over. Get the other things out the way. I wanna seek you first. You can move that over. Move it all out the way. See, whatever it is, you can move that over. Lord, I just want you. You can move that over. So I will make room, yeah. See, whatever it is, you can move that over. You can move it over. You can move that over. Please just move it over. You can move that over. Help me move it over. You can move that over. Jesus, I just want you to know. You can move that over. That I will make room. I find space for what I treasure. I make time for what I want. I choose my priorities. Jesus, you're my number one.
You are listening to Candid Moments with Fortunate on Heartsong Live Radio.
Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Welcome, guys. Welcome back. Welcome or welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Candid Moments with Fortunate on Heartsong Live Radio. Heart to heart talks, candid talks. We don't form around here. We say the truth as it is. We say our truth as it is, and we talk about hard topics. We talk about things that people don't really want to talk about. But today we're talking Gen Alpha kids being raised by millennials or Gen X or Gen Z, whatever the case may be. If you have a Gen Alpha kid in your life and you're helping to raise them in one way or the other, this topic and today's show is for you. So, we're going to be talking about something that didn't help raise us. However, in today's world, it's helping raise our kids. And I'm sure before I even say anything, everybody already knows what I'm talking about. Technology. Technology. Amazing, amazing technology. Technology has changed so many things. I mean, I'm right here streaming on air on Heartsong Live Radio. I am on TikTok live. I'm on YouTube streaming live. I'm on Facebook streaming live all at once. Technology is amazing. Technology cannot even just be like, we cannot deny how amazing technology truly is. Tablets, YouTube, games, social media. These are all the things that our children are exposed to now, and they've literally been born into. Children today, like I said earlier in the show, can unlock phones before they can even write properly. Before they can even see the tiny little, I have a baby in my life right now that is turning 1 next month. His little tiny little finger, once a phone is in front of him, he's swiping. Guys, this technology of a thing is just, it's profound, honestly. And the kids that we're giving birth to nowadays, they are super intelligent. Like the things that they can do even before they can speak, the things that they can do even before they can walk or talk or write is absolutely incredible. They're very, very, very smart, the kids that we're raising nowadays. So I want us to be honest. Our screens, I mean, in terms of screen time, is it helping us as parents, or is it taking over? I'd really like to hear your thoughts. Screens, are they helping us in raising these children, or are they completely taking over? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Are screens helping us, or are they completely taking over? For me, again, I would say that it can be either or. It can be taking over. And it can be that it's taking over, it's totally taking over. Or it can be that it's helping us. Someone in the comments says we can actually say 50-50. And yes, absolutely, we can say 50-50. Someone else says both, but I think the disadvantages are a lot. Very true as well. That 50-50, to be honest, I don't know of anybody who has actually been able to balance 50-50. Because like I've been saying from the beginning, you may want to cut soap for me. If you people have been able to do 50-50, please teach me how. Because I find, depending on my mood, depending on how my life is going in general, it can vary. It can vary. Sometimes when I'm totally overwhelmed and I'm very tired, it's just like I'm leaving them to be raised by the technology. But other times when I'm in a better headspace, I'm thriving, I'm able to balance it out a little bit more. So we can actually say a little bit of both, which is what most people are saying here, is it's helping and it can also be destroying. It's really a little bit of both. It's not, there's no one that can say 100% no or 100% yes. Because we know that technology can educate. There are some things my children will come and tell me some facts about. Maybe, I think the other day they were on, they were saying, Mommy, we want to show you something. And then they went on ChatGPT and asked, can everybody in the world stand in Russia? Like, is Russia big enough for everybody in the world to stand in Russia? Like, and guys, guess the answer to that question. I couldn't even believe it. Like, the answer was actually yes. That if people were just standing and not doing anything, like standing in a spot, Russia is actually big enough for every single person in the world to stand side by side. I'm like, wow, mind blown. I mean, not that information is going to really do much, but it just goes to show how far technology has gone to be able to help the inquisitive minds of the children that we're raising today. I was really, really surprised. Oh, thank you very much, Elizabeth. Thank you. Imagine. Someone here says that one of her kids is going to be 10 on the 1st of May. And he's already telling his mom to upgrade his iPad. Like, they even know the difference. Like, that, an iPhone 14 is different from an iPhone 15. An iPad, whether 3rd gen, is different from an iPad 4th gen. I didn't know these things at their age. I was even just only excited to even have my dad buy me a toy. But now our kids, their toys are these gadgets. It's really amazing. It really is amazing, how technology has advanced so far. So like I was saying, technology can be used to educate. Now I know that Russia can take all the human beings in the world standing side by side. Nafisa says, come to my help. Trust me, all of us need help. All of us need help from these our Gen Alpha kids. So yes, we see how technology can educate, but it can also distract. And I think for me, that's one of my biggest problems with my own kids as an individual is I see how much they're learning because of technology. However, I also see how easily distracted they are, and how they are almost dependent on technology. Like, it's almost like, you see how in those days it was withdrawal from, withdrawal from drugs and things like that was what people used to. Sometimes I think this technology thing is almost as bad as drugs in the way that our children react when you say, for example, it's time to go to bed, no more tab or no more TV or whatever. You can almost feel them behaving like someone who is withdrawing from a substance. And sometimes that's one of the scariest things for me. That's what gives me a lot of fear, like, oh my goodness, these children are getting too dependent on this devices, and that's where I kind of struggle and I have issues. Is like, how do we create this balance where they're not overly dependent on these on technology as a whole? Sometimes it overstimulates them. A lot of children are on some spectrum or the other. They might not be very advanced. They might not be an advanced stage. It might not be, clearly you say this child has maybe ADHD or this child has autism. But usually, if you actually check it, most children are somewhere on that spectrum. Most individuals as a whole, not even children only, because I work in health and I have the opportunity to work with people who are on the spectrum. And I see some behaviors in them that I see in myself as an individual. I see some behaviors in them that I see in my children. And you can just tell that everybody is somewhere, somewhat on that spectrum. They might be high-performing individuals where you might never be able to detect or tell, but just one or two things will let you know that this person is on the spectrum or is neurodiverse in some way, right? And this technology sometimes is a stimulant. It can overstimulate them. It can also replace connection if we're not careful. You will just find that child is no longer connected with reality anymore. They just want to be in that fantasy world. They just want to continue to, go down that rabbit hole that technology can be. So that's why we're saying we want to try and make sure that we draw the line and we create a balance as much as possible. So now, the main question is, if we're not able to balance this out, are we actually raising children or are we managing devices? Have our children turned into robots, literally? Have they... Are we raising devices? Are we managing devices as opposed to actual children? We don't want to get there, and that's why we're having this conversation today. So are we really raising children, or is it devices that we're managing? Have our children become robots? Like I've been seeing comments. Some are saying technology helps. Others are saying it can be a bit much. And honestly, both can coexist. Those two things can actually be true. They can both be true. So we're going to go deeper in the next hour we're just on the back of 5 o'clock now. And we're going to be talking about discipline. We're going to be talking about emotions and how we can guide this generation properly as much as we can. We're going to be talking about all of that after we go on this short music break.
This is my worship. This is my offering.
Candid Moments with Fortunate on Heart Song Live Radio.
Welcome back, guys. If you're just joining us today, we're already 1 hour in. Wow, time does really fly. This is Candid Moments with Fortunate on Heart Song Live Radio. And I'm your host for today, Iyinscreativemind. And we've just been talking, little banter here and there. We're just, rubbing minds together on the topic tonight, which is raising Gen Alpha kids as millennial parents. And I've been very careful to say that you don't even have to be a millennial. You could be a Gen X, you could be a Gen Z who has a Gen Alpha in their lives and you're a part of raising them. And this conversation will be very beneficial to anyone at all who has a Gen Alpha child in their lives. And please don't be afraid to lean into the conversation. Let us know what you think. Let us know what works for you, what has been helping, and so that we can help others, so that others can also benefit from our conversation today. So let's talk about something that's changed a lot, and that's our parenting style. Parenting style has changed. Excuse me. Our parenting style has changed from the way we were brought up. It was a no questions asked, no explanations given kind of life that we grew up with. However, many millennials today are choosing what we call gentle parenting. Gentle parenting. Gentle parenting. I'm so sorry. I'm laughing. It's just, I've tried it. I cannot say that I've been entirely successful, but gentle parenting, guys, that's what our Gen Z children are wanting. Our Gen Alpha children, that's what they want. And that's what we're trying to do in this generation now. More communication, more understanding, because we did lack a lot of that when we were being brought up. And we understand the importance, and that's why most parents are wanting to lean into the gentle parenting, is because we understood that when we were not given the opportunity to explain ourselves, when we weren't given the opportunity to ask questions, it didn't particularly help us to be well-grounded individuals. I mean, it's when we became older and realized that, things need to be questioned. You need to explain yourself as much as possible if you find yourself in a rut. We've realized that, allowing our children learn these skills early on can be a game changer for them in life. And that's why we're saying we want more communication, we want more understanding, and we want our children to have more emotional awareness than what we had growing up. So that's the reason. That's why, excuse me, that's why we're choosing gentle parenting. So I want us to talk. Do you think that children today are too soft, or they're actually just more emotionally aware? What are your thoughts, guys? What do you think? Do you think that the issue is that children are too soft? Is that what's happening to them now, or are they just more emotionally aware? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I want to see your comments, guys. What do you think? Are our children nowadays, are they more emotionally aware, or they are just too soft? Because you know how when we were growing up, they'll say if a guy, no, you don't cry as a boy, you have to man up, you have to do this, you have to do that, My boys cry, and they will cry with their full chest if they're hurt, if something is, and I never, try to undermine that or try to make them think, no, as a boy, you shouldn't be crying. I don't do that. Okay, I can see people are saying they're more emotionally aware. I tend to believe that as well. I tend to believe that they're actually more emotionally aware. They just realize that their feelings are valid. They understand that what they're feeling is normal. What is happening around them is normal. It's normal to feel sad. It's normal to feel hurt about things not going your way, as opposed to bottling up those emotions. So I would say that it's actually true. They are more emotionally aware, more so than saying that they're soft. Arika says, I never want my kid to have that mindset that men are not supposed to show feelings. Honestly, I've seen so many men damaged emotionally damaged men today who are that way because they weren't allowed to express their emotions. So personally for me as well, I'm not going to let my kids think that, oh, there's only boys that cry. It's only girls that cry. Why are you crying like a girl? As in, you would hardly even hear my kids say, oh, that person is crying like a girl, because it's not a thing in our home. There's no crying like a girl. It's not a thing. Crying is crying. Every human being has the ability to cry and should cry if they need to, and if they feel the need to, if they feel that would help them to, let out their emotions. There's really no reason why they cannot. So yes, we need to raise emotionally aware children. On the side of the girls, I don't have girls, so it might be a little difficult to talk on that point. But on the side of girls, where we make girls think they need to be timid, they need to be spoken, they need to only speak when spoken to, we're raising bolder girls now who understand that their thoughts and their emotions and their opinions matter as much as anyone else, as much as any other gender. They understand that their opinions matter, not not being carried to a corner to think, oh, once if I don't talk, if I say my opinion, then they would think I'm not gentle. They'll think I'm not girly enough. They'll think I'm not ladylike. We're no longer raising such children. We're no longer raising children who would agree to whatever stereotype. And that's why, like we said, they're inquisitive, they question everything. We should encourage that as much as possible, of course, with boundaries, right? Of course, with boundaries. On one hand, it's beautiful to raise children who can express themselves. But of course, on the other hand, we know that boundaries still matter. We still don't want children who would, because we've given them, the opinion and we've told them that they're free to express themselves, they would not now be mindful of others' feelings. That's where where we need to strike a balance between ensuring that, these children understand that they can be emotionally aware, their emotions are valid. However, they still need to lead with grace. They still need to consider other people's emotions and feelings when, expressing their opinions. Somebody said here that one thing I always tell my son is it's okay not to be okay despite your gender, because of course, the stereotype is boys are not allowed to show their feelings, but that's not right. And they can become emotional blackmailers if we're not careful. When we don't balance it out, when you tell them, oh, you can express your feelings, some of them use it to blackmail you. They use it to then try to get their way. So that's where the balance comes in. That's where we need to ensure that there's a balance. There's still boundaries to everything in life, regardless. Love without boundaries is not guidance. Love without boundaries is not guidance. I want us to take a second for that to sink in. Love without boundaries is not guidance. If you say you love your child, and because of that, you are not setting any boundaries for them, you're not telling them or letting them know that regardless of the fact that their feelings are valid, there's still a limit to everything, then you're no longer guiding them. You're literally just throwing them out to the world to do as they see fit. So we need the boundaries, even though we want to ensure that these children are well-rounded individuals and they have a right to their emotions, they have a right to their feelings. We need to teach them boundaries at the same time to ensure that they're actually being guided and not just being, left alone. So we're going to take a quick music break again. Of course, my TikTok family will still have me. Let's just take a breather, guys. Don't go anywhere. I really like this worship song by Sonny Badu, which is the one that I want to play now. Says, we're in your presence. Let it rain. Let your rain fall on us. It's a worship song that I really enjoy and I really like, and has the ability to calm us down even in the midst of the hardest turmoils. So I'm going to play that for us to just, take some time to breathe. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about exposure. which is a big thing when it comes to technology, and identity, which is also a very big thing when it comes to technology. We'll be talking about that when we come back from this short music break. Don't go anywhere.
Candid Moments with Fortunate on Heartsong Live Radio. On air, on DAB, online, on your smart speaker, on your phone. This is Heartsong Live.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for being here from now, from when we started story until now. My TikTok fam, they're distracting me. They're saying voice. Oh my goodness. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So we've been talking about parenting Gen Alpha kids as millennials today on Candid Moments by Fortunate, on Heartsong Live Radio. And we've had a very wholesome discussion thus far. We've talked about how, technology is an enabler. It's a helper for parents, but it can also be, a nightmare for us. We've talked about the reason that we're raising our children differently. Number one, it's because we are in a different generation altogether. We're in a technology-driven generation. Then also because of the way we were raised as in our time, in a time where you can't question anything, you can't, explain anything. We just think that our kids deserve better. We know that they need to be given the opportunity to be inquisitive and to, explore the world, with the way that they want to. And that's the reason that we're raising our children differently. But there's something else that we need to talk about, which is exposure and identity. This generation is exposed to everything. When I say everything, I mean everything in capital letters. This generation is exposed to any and everything faster than ever before and at a very, very young age. Like literally from the womb, they're already exposed to everything that you can imagine. Everything, no matter how scary you think, what the scariest thing you think that your child can be exposed to, they're exposed to it, guys. And, of course, that's a concern because we understand that there's stages for things. There are some things that you only are supposed to understand and come to a realization of as you get older. But nowadays, our children are exposed to these things way earlier than they should be, way earlier than, they need to. So how do we deal with this? They're exposed to different cultures. They're exposed to different ideas. They're exposed to different lifestyles from a very, very young age. Children start school very, very early. They're exposed to so many different things from a very young age. Technology also, which is, the main thing, exposes them to these things much faster than, they should be exposed to them. So parents in the chat and anyone listening to me, how do you manage what your children are exposed to? How do we manage it? How do we manage it? If you've got, how do you manage it personally? Anyone in the chat, how do you manage what your children are exposed to? How do you manage what your children are exposed to? I'd like to hear from you. How do you manage what your children are exposed to? For me personally, I have apps that I use on my own device so I can literally track everything that my child is doing. I have apps like I can what's it called? Like if my child is watching something, I can literally see what they're watching as they're watching it. If they need a new app on their device, if they need oh my goodness. That's crazy. I'll read the comments out in a bit. So for me, like I said, just the practical. Yeah, so depending on the device that you use, for me, I use an iPhone. So when I set up my child's device, I set it up as a child's iPhone. So I use my own iPhone, what's it called now? Apple ID to set the device up. So automatically you put the child's age. So it asks you, what do you want to restrict? Do you want to restrict things for that age? And then you can decide whether or not the apps that are on the phone, when when they can download, when they can use it, all of that can be set remotely from your own device. Then I think on Android phones as well, because I've got an Android phone as well, you can set up. So the key is to first of all set any device that you have for your child up as a child's device. If there was a time when my children will not allow me, they would say they don't want the children's one because they feel like it's very limiting, it's very restricted, they can't access some things, but that's better. It's better for them to have limited access to some things than for them to be able to access things that you don't want them to access. So basically, for me, that's what I do. I set up any device that they have access to as a child's device. Then on my TV as well, I've got, checks in place where I can turn off my TV remotely. I can turn off, whatever they're doing remotely. I can make sure that the TV cannot be used when I'm not at home and I can't monitor them, or when I'm not around them. Maybe I'm going upstairs for a nap, they're downstairs, they're watching TV. I can set it so that I'm in control of whatever it is that they're doing. So for me, it's apps that I use and, control their devices and make it a child profile so that they're not having access to what they're not supposed to have access to. Yes. So what Alexa says is, when it comes to gadgets, it's easy because most gadgets for kids have parental controls. So that's one way to be able to control it. And then having discussions with them as well about what's appropriate and what's not. So when they feel like, oh, mommy, you're restricted, why can't I watch that? I'm explaining why, I think it's too advanced for their age, and then it just helps our understanding. They don't always agree. You people know the Gen Alpha children already. They don't always agree, but at least, that the explanation is there and they understand. So that's one way to, manage what they're exposed to. Of course, we're not with them the whole day. We're not with them 24 hours of the day. So the little time that we are with them and the little things that we can control, we need to ensure that there's control. So these children are exposed to everything, but are they grounded in anything at all? And I think that that's a very important question to ask ourselves, is what are they grounded in? Because it's from the depth of what they're grounded in that they'll be able to, ward off all these different distractions and all these things that they're exposed to. For example, my children would, if they see a funny scene coming up in a movie, because it's not only a matter of, oh, ew, because some children, it's just the stage of their lives where they're not interested in a certain thing just because of the age that they are. But if you help them to be grounded, to understand the whys, then when they see something like that come up on their tab, they're swiping away immediately and they're alerting you to it, because they also understand why it's not good for them and why they should not be, exposed to such a thing. Someone says here that we need to find time to even watch some of their favorite movies together. Very, very important. In fact, for me, when I see a new movie comes out that the children are interested in, they would definitely talk my ears off, saying, oh, the new Mario movie is coming out, this movie is coming out. I make it a point to do like a movie night with them where we all watch what they are interested in, what they want to watch, what they enjoy. So that, number one, I'm ensuring that the content of the movie, some children's movies are masked. They tell you it's a children's movie and you watch it and you see all sorts of funny themes showing up in there, all sorts of subliminal messages in there. So it's actually very important what Abina just said, that we should take time out to watch their favorite movies with them, because that way, number one, we can even understand their thinking. So one practice that I have is, when we finish watching a movie, I'm asking my children, we don't just watch it for entertainment alone. I'm asking them to say, oh, that movie also, what was the basic theme in that movie? What do you think they were trying to teach? Is it courage? Is it fearlessness? Is it bravery? Most movies have a theme. Most movies have they have a theme that they're trying to, what they're trying to teach with the movie or with the cartoon or whatever it is that the children watch. So it's good to ask, so that it's also helping you understand that they're not just watching it just for the entertainment of just watching the pictures move. They're actually paying attention, because we understand that attention spans now have become shorter and shorter and shorter, even in adults. Even for me, I know how quickly my attention span can just, like, I'm watching something and the next second I'm distracted. So we need to ensure that they're watching movies to get something out of it, and that helps them, develop in general. It would help them develop, in everything in their lives. Excuse me. So yeah, that's a good way, is to ensure that, we're seeing what they're watching, we're watching with them as much as possible, and then we're getting their ideas. There are sometimes that my children will tell me something that they think was the reason that something happened in a movie. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I did not even think about that. They're like, oh yeah, I think that's why the lady did that to that boy, because they wanted this and this and this to happen. And sometimes I'm astounded at how they think. And sometimes there are very solid conclusions that they've drawn that I didn't even think about. So these things are really important. And that's one of the ways that, we can ensure that we are building wholesome children and we're using technology to our advantage. So, this brings me to something very important. For me, I'm a Christian. I'm not sure what faith anybody else is. Faith and values is another very important thing that we need to instill in our children to ensure that technology is not taking the front seat and technology is not what is raising these children on our behalf, rather than being a tool and helping us in raising them. The Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go. Even if you're not Christian, when you hear someone advise you to train up in a child in the way he should go, it should be something that you want to be a part of. It should be something that you want to practice as well. Because if you don't train a child in the way they should go, how do they know what way? How do they know? Aren't we just leaving them to figure it all out? Is that really the best way to parent? So the Bible says, train up in a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. A lot of people weren't trained, and they're expecting that when they are old, they have, a clear value system. They have a clear faith system, but it's not automatic. If we don't do the training, if we don't train them in the way that they should go, we cannot expect that things will just automatically fall into place when they're older. So in today's world, what would that look like? In today's world, what would training up a child in the way they should go look like? It would look like leading by example. Someone has said that earlier in this live today on TikTok, leading by example. It's not the easiest thing to do. I'm sure people will testify that it's not the easiest thing to do, but that's literally one of the only ways to ensure that these children are raised right, they are trained up in the way that they should go, they have the right faith, they have the right values. We need to lead by example. It's such a simple statement. It's something we hear every day. It's something that we hear it all the time. But it might not be the easiest thing to do, but it is such a solid piece of advice. It is such a solid way to ensure that these children are actually being raised right. Having honest conversations is another one. We were raised in an era where asking questions weren't always allowed. Giving explanations for things weren't always allowed. And, you were literally just supposed to listen and do what you were told. However, in the generation, and we've even seen the kind of children that we have nowadays, they're inquisitive, they want to know. They're curious, they want to explore. They want to understand why the world is the way the world is. They want to understand why the world works the way the world works. They want to understand why things work the way that they work. And someone says here, going back to our first point, leading by example doesn't mean you behave like a saint. No, just do what's needed. And that's really, really important, because we might, in the spirit of lead by example, think that we have to be perfect. But that's not true, because nobody really is perfect. We don't expect our kids to be perfect, so we can't try and live a life showing like we're perfect. Let's not be afraid to make mistakes and own up to our mistakes to our children. That's another thing that I'm currently learning is I'm human, so I make mistakes. So it's okay to let my children see that I make mistakes so that they know it's okay for them to make mistakes as well, because it's actually part of life. So in leading by example, let's not try to pretend like we are saints for the benefit of our children so that they think, oh, our mommy, my mom doesn't do this. No. Let us be as human as possible and as relatable as possible so that they understand what real life truly is. And that's what leading by example is. And like I said, having honest conversations, it kind of spills through from leading by example. When you lead by example, when you make a mistake and you're able to own it up to your child, you're able to have honest conversations with them to let them know, okay, I fumbled, I made a mistake this time, and this is what I'm doing to try and fix it. So that when the child makes a mistake, they understand that it's not the end of life. They can also find ways to try and overcome whatever their challenges are. Having honest conversations cannot be overestimated. It cannot be oversaid. It's very important for the children of today. We need to have honest conversations with them. And then we need to show them our faith, not just tell them. All of these things are interwoven, to be honest, because to show your child your faith and not just telling them means that if you say you're a Christian, for example, I'm a Christian, so I can talk from that perspective. If I say that I'm a Christian, I am showing my child how to be a Christian rather than telling them how to be a Christian. And what that means is, if the Bible says, for example, don't lie, don't steal, you can't be lying to your children in the name of, oh, I'm only protecting them. It's a white lie. I just had to tell him that we are going, even though I knew we were not going. Things as small as that. My son, if I say, for example, my younger son, if I say to him, oh, we're going to a restaurant or something, for example, if I said that to him and then for some reason, maybe because of time, maybe because of circumstances, sometimes we promise these children things and unfortunately we're not able to meet up to that promise. My son will come and say, Mommy, you lied to me. And I would have to explain to him and say, no, I wasn't lying. I wanted us to go, but this, and the other happened, and that's why we can't go. Can we see if tomorrow will work? That's a better approach than, how dare you call me a liar? The child feels like it's a lie because you've told them something and it's not happening the way that they expected it to happen. So the child is only expressing themselves the way that they know to express themselves is, oh, Mommy, why did you lie to me? But we can let them know, be honest with them, show them our faith. Our faith says, don't lie, don't steal. Let's not be found doing those things. But that does not take away the honest conversations where you're able to tell the child, oh, I made a mistake. Yes, I did say something that was not true. I didn't mean to. I realize now it's a mistake. I'm sorry. A lot of parents, back then, our parents used to tell us sorry, that's what. There was never anything that they felt was enough for them to, apologize to us. But this crop of children that we're raising, we need to be able to own up to our mistakes and apologize. That's the only way to teach them to be better individuals. Yes, I know pride can be a very big thing where we're too proud. Our parents were proud, I would say. The generation that raised us, they don't want to be found wanting. They don't want to be seen as being wrong. But we can't continue to live in that kind of mindset because the children we're raising now are totally different. So how are we teaching values in our home? How do we teach values in our home? Does anybody have anything to share? I'd really appreciate if you can share. How are you teaching values in your home? How are you carrying your children along in your faith in your home? I'd like to really hear thank you, my darling. How are we teaching values in our home? For me, it's simple. I'm trying to lead by example. I'm teaching the values by doing what I'm asking them to do myself. Teaching them the word of God, absolutely. I try to have devotion sessions with my children, age-appropriate devotion sessions, because I found that at some point my children used to get bored when I tried to carry them along with something that is more adults, it's more inclined to like adults. So I had to find age-appropriate material that I then use to engage them with the Word of God. And then, like I said, leading by example. If a value is honesty, I'm honest with them as much as I can. And when I fall short, I ensure that I'm letting them know that I have fallen short and I'm working towards, making amends. So in conclusion, we're getting very close to the end. Parenting today is not easy. We said that at the beginning. We're not going to come and pretend like parenting is easy. We're raising children in a world where, we ourselves are still trying to understand the world that we're in. Technology is moving so fast. And because, as humans in general, we are learning every day. We learn a new thing every single day. So even we are still trying to figure the world out for ourselves. We're even trying to figure out this technology of a thing ourselves. I know, I've not mentioned AI purposely because I don't want us to overshadow all the other aspects of technology, right? We're still trying to understand a lot of aspects of technology ourselves, and we're raising children in a world where everything is still, there's still a lot to learn. There's still a lot that we don't know. So we understand that parenting is not easy. And we understand that we're actually not just raising children, we are shaping the future. We're shaping the future. And, that's what should be at the back of our minds. Yes, a lot is evolving. A lot of things, a lot of ways that we used to handle many things, while we were growing up, it has become so fast-paced. It has become so almost automatic. A lot of things that you didn't need to worry about, you don't have to worry about anymore now. There is a solution for almost everything, right? So we are not just raising children, we're shaping the future. What we're seeing now as technology that we think has advanced to a point where we're like, wow, things are so different, things are so amazing. Can you guys just imagine what it would be like in another 20 years, for example, where some of us would be grandparents at the time? Like, I can't even imagine, because it's clear that technology has we've not scratched the surface. Technology is still going where we can't imagine, our minds can't fathom at the moment, So these children that we're raising now are going to be a very crucial part of shaping what that future is going to look like. So as much as possible, we need to be thinking in those lines. We need to be thinking in those lines of how is what I'm doing with my children today going to impact the future of tomorrow. It's very important for us to think about that. And honestly, maybe our goal shouldn't be being a perfect parent, because that's my mantra. There's nothing like perfection is an illusion. Perfection is a facade. It's not real, in my opinion. So our goal really should not be, being a perfect parent or being perfect parents. But our goal, if we're going to take anything away from today, our goal should be present, be intentional, and be willing to learn. Be present, be intentional, and be willing to learn. If you did not take anything away from today's session at all, that's something that I think you should just have at the back of your mind. Even I have it written. I'm going to do a bit of a recap of this maybe on my page, and I'm going to put those 3 words: be present, be intentional, and be willing to learn. And we will raise the most fantastic of humans. We will raise, the best children who will bring a very bright tomorrow and a beautiful future for us all. Thank you so much, Cabello, for following. Thank you so much. So that's it. That's us. I've learned so much from everyone who has, participated today, and I really do hope that you've also learned a thing or two. And like I said, in closing, I really want us to just let this stick. Let it be our mantra. Be present. Interact with these children. Be there. Listen to them. Answer their questions. If you don't have the answers, find the answers and give them answers. Don't ever leave any conversation without your child actually having a clear-cut answer. Be present. Be intentional. Be intentional and be willing to learn. Anywhere they are talking about parenting, you will find me there, because I feel like regardless, I will learn, even if it's just one new thing that I can implement that would help my journey be smoother, help my journey be, easier, that bit easier. I'm always there for it. I'm always there for it. So thank you guys for joining. I'm really grateful for your presence on today's show. This has been Candid Moments with Fortunate, and I was your host for today, Iyinscreativemind. We are streaming live on Heartsong Live Radio. Thank you guys so much, so much. I'm grateful for you. And I'm just going to end with this song, The Father's House by Corey Asbury, as we end the show. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.